Բարև ձեզ սիրելի հեռուստադիտողներ։ Վերջերս Հայաստանում անցկացվեց տեղեկատվական տեխնոլոգիաների համաշխարհային կոնգրեսը WCIT-ին։ Այս կարևոր իրադարձության մասնակցելու համար Հայաստան էին ժամանել միջազգային հեղինակավոր ընկերությունների ներկայացուցիչներ, տեխնոհամայնքի տարբեր մասնագետներ, ինչպես նաև սփյուռքահայ մասնագետներ։ Նրանցից մեկը Լոս Անջելեսի շրջանի տեղեկատվական անվտանգության և կիբերանվտանգության փորձագետ Allen Ohanianն է, որն այսօր մեր տաղավարում է։ Thank you for being here, Mr. Ohanian. Mr. Ohanian, what are your impressions of WCIT and how was your involvement in the Congress?
Certainly. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. True story, I do speak a lot in US nationals and then Europe and Middle East. Being in Armenia from the technical perspective and having the opportunity to share my experience and knowledge was a true dream of mine, which with WCIT became true. I was so grateful for being here. It was such an honor and amazing experience. About WCIT, the event was so impressive, and I'll tell you why. It brought the brains, the talented people from across the world, which are Armenian, in one platform. What I realized was so much talent, especially among youngsters that exist here in Armenia specifically, and people are hungry for knowledge, hungry for innovation, and they do take steps, hard work to get there. So all in all, it was an amazing event. As I said, the great speakers, fantastic panel members. The audience were very proactive, asking questions, which is always a good sign, which indicates you're not boring, so you're not boring them. The content is interesting, and the audience are interested to learn about it. Well organized, extremely well orchestrated from the beginning to the end. As I said, it gave an opportunity for some of the technical leaders in this industry, AI, tech, and business, to come together, collaborate, share experiences, share knowledge, and at the end, network. So now we know who is where, and we will definitely keep in touch with most of them, if not all. And in the long term, the way I see this is it has a positive impact on Armenia. From geopolitical perspective, it brought so much attention to this region. So now everybody, if they didn't know about Armenia or how it does or what it happens, now they know. So it gives the perception of Armenia is leading towards self-sufficiency in an AI environment or technological environment, which is fantastic. On the other side, as I said, it brought the great minds, Armenian minds, together as one platform so we can collaborate, and potentially I see a bright future for Armenia if these efforts continue. So we build the momentum and we cannot stop it. We have to start moving and leverage that momentum.
What other specific opportunities do you see for Armenia in hosting this event, particularly for having like future international collaborations with Armenian tech companies, also for promoting Armenia's visibility and position as a tech hub in the region?
Excellent question, because to your point, I see a lot of tech startups here. So as I said earlier, the young generation being so talented and hungry to learn, explore, it just indicates there are so much business opportunities in Armenia where that business opportunity, if it's done here, it can easily be expanded and explored across the globe. Pixar, for example, is a good example. I had a honor to have a tour in their entire facility and talk to their top executive leadership. That's a prime example. It started here in Armenia, but now it's branched out across the world. Everybody knows Pixar. So is other technical startups. I myself, I'm considering actually doing a few projects here in Armenia, which before I didn't think about having that investment or leverage our Armenian talent in Armenia, but now seeing what I saw this time, I will absolutely consider that. So, sorry, the long answer to your short question. This opens up the hub for people from abroad to see what the opportunities exist, what are the talents, and how we can harness the talent here in our own homeland. Because we like it or not, cybersecurity is one of the most, if not #1 element in any industry, if you want to protect and move forward, if you want to have a business, you have to have that protection measures in place. If you want to have a sustainable revenue, sustainable governments, sustainable organizations that run critical infrastructure, without having that cybersecurity in place, these things can be compromised in a heartbeat. It can go out of the equation. People say, well, peace is great. Well, with all due respect, I say peace is when you have a bigger stick than the other guys. So having a strong, for example, cyber army, cyber defense system where everyone will be scared to even think about coming close to our networks or our systems, that can be a huge impact globally. So that's what I see the long term, where Armenia becomes the center hub for innovation, AI technologies, and specifically cyber warfare and cybersecurity. So
do you think that this event was an effective platform for attracting also investments? Right? 100%,
100%, absolutely. I run into a lot of my colleagues in WCIT, and I talk to other individuals. I want to say probably 99.9% of them either they have a business in Armenia and they want to start new things, or they're really thinking of collecting some talents, collaborating, finding the right people and start something new, myself included.
You've mentioned that you visited some Armenian tech companies and other organizations. Have you ever collaborated with tech company or Armenian like professionals from this sphere?
Not at the moment, because I didn't know that we have so much talent here. So truth to be told, as I said, I do go around a lot of national, international speaking engagement when it involves cybersecurity and AI. And with heartfelt feeling, I have to say I don't see any Armenians in that space. So when I said this was my dream to be here, putting it together, I would really love to contribute and collaborate with tech companies here, which they already got my contact, and I look forward to further collaborations. Knowing what exists here, it really impressed me. It really brightened my day, if you will, because when I would see in the news how certain cyber warfare is happening, or in general, nations are not in a very good terms with each other, cyber was the first thing that went into my mind, because once you have that strength, once you have that leverage, you can do a lot of good things, and especially defend our homeland. That's my long, I guess, hope and goal. But yes, I think a lot of opportunities can be brought here, start here, and we can branch out to the entire world. There are so many countries, small countries, which I'm not going to name them. They're very tiny, very small, similar to Armenia, similar heritage, similar background, where they're untouchable these days. This is, I don't know if you've got it crazy, but this is my dream, to see Armenia to be one of them.
You mentioned that you want to contribute your expertise to Armenian like cyber sphere or AI and IT sectors. How do you imagine your contribution?
The contribution can be many forms. It can be advisory, it can be assisting, and plus it can be initiating a startup, so ideas or projects that I have in mind, where technically I would probably do in US. I can do that here. I can start here instead of over there. So it goes from, as I said, from different perspective: advisory, sharing expertise, giving direction, sharing my experience, my academic background. All that can be combined together.
We have talked about your experience, and I also mentioned in the beginning of the interview that you work in information security and also cybersecurity field. Could you share more about your experience?
Certainly. Currently, I am the Chief Information Security Officer for LA County Department of Children and Family Services. So we are the largest child welfare agency in the entire United States. Our complexity of systems, the vast amount of data that we collect, is unparalleled in the United States. We have so many different dimensions that requires protection: medical records, health records, psychological assessment, case information, educational records, financial backgrounds, law enforcement, and this just name a few. And then on top of that, we do deal with human trafficking. and human children sex trafficking, which is a huge underground business, pretty heartbreaking. But this is the elements that we have to deal with. And then we have remote workforce, which they work remotely off our central locations. We covered the entire, as I said, LA County, which is LA, Los Angeles by itself is the 8th largest economy in the world, if that was a separate country. So with that being said, I have 25 years experience in IT, innovation, bringing technology leaders together, leadership, cybersecurity, defense strategies, cyber privacy, building security programs from ground up in bigger organizations, this one included, where there is no cyber defense or strategy in place. I lead a lot of cybersecurity task forces. I lead risk management cyber task force for Los Angeles County. So I help place risk vectors and measures how to calculate risk overall and what to do in general for all different county departments. Los Angeles County is such a huge and big organization. We have 34, 35 different departments, if you will, businesses within the one umbrella of Los Angeles County. Not a single one of them are the same. So they're all unique. It's governed by the board. So we are responsible for all these different 34 departments when I talk about risk management perspective. I also am a governing member for AI governance, establishment, and implementation across our great Los Angeles County. Academically, I hold a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. I was a programmer initially, building code and then breaking them and then rebuilding them. And then I got into cybersecurity. I got Masters in cybersecurity. Then I realized cybersecurity is about protecting the business. So I got my Master's in Business Administration, MBA. So I got my dual degree. As time progressed, I realized at the end it's all about people. So now I'm doing my PhD in organizational psychology and human behavior, and my dissertation will be focusing on AI, cybersecurity, and human behavior.
How do you think that education, like as I hear from your experience, I know that education was like a basement for your future collaborations and work. How do you think that we can foster the role of education in this sphere in Armenia?
Certainly. Well, yesterday I visited some of the educational centers and I gave a speech and presentation on the Microsoft Center. One is collaborating with established entities, which most of them are overseas, such as Microsoft. There's another institute called SANS. I collaborate with a lot of them, bringing or partnering with these entities to bring a branch here in Armenia. So this way the knowledge can be transferred. Another effective way is, as I said, reaching out to leading experts in certain industries and gaining and asking for advisement, for leadership, for vision, and sharing knowledge, because those experts have already gone there, done the work, run into so many different mistakes. They made bad decisions and then they corrected it. So we don't have to create the wheel from scratch, especially if you are just starting a new tech company or leveraging knowledge here in Armenia. You can already leverage experiences and knowledge from people who have already been there. So I think those are a few elements. Also, having a conferences such as WCIT, it goes really far because these experts already come here. They're here. They're in our disposal. So engaging more with them, having some partnership, establishing network, and establishing collaboration, it goes really far. It's very helpful, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we see that AI is also increasingly being integrated into like cybersecurity and other IT sectors, and it's also being integrated into threat detection systems. How do you see AI's role like evolving in identifying and mitigating like these threats?
Correct. Yeah, so as you know, my speech and presentation was about AI integrating into cybersecurity. I think AI is a game changer. Is an absolute game changer. AI has been around for a while, but now it's gaining visibility more and more. Companies are using AI to do things better, much more efficient, and potentially cheaper. And the reason is pretty obvious. What is an AI? It's a computer-based generated algorithm which learns and also operates on a vast amount of data. So these are the two main components. machine learning algorithms, and then the vast data. Now, in the cyber defense or cyber offense world, when you're integrating a powerful tool such as an AI, which can automate so many different functions, where before a human being had to sit there with a group of people, coordinate, do coding, find vulnerabilities, now AI can do that in a heartbeat, as long as it has the data. The challenge with that is AI can learn and adapt. So when you're on the defense side, as things will progress, detection of these intrusions coming in will become far harder, because AI, as I said, can learn, can impersonate, can morph, meaning it can change itself to become undetected, and learns the pattern of a trusted user potentially. And having our defense system, we have to start incorporating AI, feeding more data sets into our AI algorithms. So coupled with our cybersecurity defense measures, it can be a very effective way to prevent, even predict at some extents, any coming cyber threats or cyber attacks. Because as I said, as the time moves on, AI becomes much more advanced, much more capable of performing functions on humans' behalf. On a conference and overall where I speak, I talk about ethics, regulations, and so forth. Yes, those are important for companies to consider. The downside of that approach is we have nations, states that are funding to weaponize AI for various reasons. So that's when the road meets the rubber, if you will. That's the challenging part. So we have to, as I said, stay ahead. We have to really do a good job and better job in leveraging AI, training the models soon, properly, and fast, incorporating large amount of data so we can do a better job in defense.
Do you believe that there is a deterrence in cybersecurity and also some AI-driven services?
In the world of cybersecurity, there is nothing 100%, so is life. It's always the story of cat and mouse. It's always the cat and mouse game where we try to be more ethical, we try to kind of design systems which it does its purpose and prevents the bad guys from coming in. Bad guys surpass any boundaries, meaning ethical boundaries. They don't have any ethics. I remember I was doing a phishing simulation across our organization, and we leveraged the COVID as a point of interest, if you will, to trigger people's emotions. So that's why I'm so interested in human mind and behavior and so forth, because that's key in forthcoming defense measures, and especially incorporating with AI. So anyway, when I sent it out, I heard comments, well, this is too realistic. People will freak out. And my comment was, exactly, that's the point. Because bad guys wouldn't care if you suffer a loss, if you suffer the virus itself. They will do anything and everything to convince individuals to take action, whether it's clicking on a link or opening an attachment or voluntarily giving their credentials out.
And we see that many Armenian organizations are already digitizing their services. What do you think should be applied to make these processes more secure and also more intense?
I will start to answer the question with a physical, real-life example. When you're building a car or a house, you don't wait until the car is done, the house is built, and then you think about, oh my God, I forgot to add a lock, right? So cybersecurity in general has to be from the get-go, from the start of a product. When you're designing a product from design phase, your cybersecurity expert should be right next to you to make sure that design doesn't have a design flaws. And then every step of the way, you add that layer of security, so by the time the product is done, you have built and baked a fully safe system which it can hold itself to some extent from any intrusions. So cybersecurity is a must, and it has to be start from the beginning of the work, not at the end. It's not an afterthought. We have to do it right up front, because I have seen a lot of cases where people put data towards the end, but what happens? You're building a program for your business, right? If it is not done safely and securely, that system can be compromised. When that system is compromised, your business goes down, your reputation goes out the door, and some companies, if it's a small one, they may not be able to withstand and come back again.
Thank you for the interview.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Հարգելի հեռուստադիտողներ, հիշեցնեմ, որ ես զրուցում էի Լոս Անջելեսի շրջանի տեղեկատվական անվտանգության և կիբերանվտանգության փորձագետ Ալեն Օհանյանի հետ։ Կհանդիպենք։